You ever sit there, maybe in your car, or maybe staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., and think, how the hell did I end up here? Like, you've been ticking all the boxes school, job, relationships, responsibilities, but there's this quiet itch, this whisper in your gut that says, something's off. You can't even explain it half the time. It's not that things are terrible, but they're not right either. You're stuck. Stuck in routines, stuck in patterns, stuck in a version of your life that maybe looks fine from the outside, but feels kind of dead on the inside. And here's the kicker. You've been taught to think that's normal. Like, welcome to adulthood, right? Smile, nod, grind through it, and hope it magically gets better someday. But deep down, you know that's BS. You know there's more to life than just dragging yourself from one day to the next like a zombie with a to-do list. And I'm telling you right now, you are not crazy for feeling that. You're not broken. You're awake. What you're feeling is the clash between the life you've built and the life you actually want. The real you, buried under years of expectations, pressure, and noise, is knocking on the door asking, hey, remember me? And that's why you feel stuck. Not because you're a failure, not because you're lazy, but because you've been living someone else's script and your soul is done playing along. Here's what nobody tells you. Feeling stuck is not the problem. Feeling stuck is the signal. It's the alarm clock going off, saying it's time to stop sleepwalking through your own damn life. This chapter, this is your wake-up call. And trust me, it's not here to scold you. It's here to save you. So the question is, are you ready to listen? All right, now that we're awake, let's talk about the scam. And yeah, I said scam because that's exactly what it is. From the moment you could form a sentence, you've been fed this shiny, airbrushed blueprint for life. Go to school, get good grades, land the job, find the one, buy the house, have the kids, maybe get a dog if you're feeling spicy. Retire at 65. Then and only then, you'll be happy, fulfilled, and basically gliding through life like it's a feel-good movie montage. Sound familiar? Yeah, total crap. Here's the part nobody mentions. You can follow that entire checklist perfectly and still feel empty as hell. Because success, happiness, they're not prizes you unlock at the end of some magical game. They're moving targets. And the people selling you this fantasy, they don't tell you about the fine print, the crushing anxiety, the burnout, the quiet nights where you stare at the ceiling thinking, is this it? Is this really all there is? You know what's wild? Half the people you think have it all together are struggling just as hard as you are. They're just better at faking it. Trust me, I've been on both sides. I've worn the mask. I've posted the highlight reels. I've smiled in photos where 5 minutes before I was having a full-on breakdown. We've all been there because we've all been sold the same damn lie. That happiness is a destination. That if we work hard enough, impress enough people, and check enough boxes, we'll arrive. But here's the truth, and it might sting a little. There's no finish line. There's no moment when the universe hands you a certificate and says, congrats, you've made it. Permanent happiness unlocked. It doesn't work that way. Happiness is built, not bought. It's messy. It's personal. And it sure as hell isn't about keeping up appearances. The more we chase this perfect, polished version of life, the more disconnected we get from ourselves, from what really matters. So let's rip off the mask. Let's admit that having it all together is a myth. And honestly, the people who look like they've got it all figured out, half the time, they're the ones struggling the most. The real win isn't in looking perfect. It's in being real. It's in building a life that feels good on the inside, not one that just looks good on the outside. That's the shift. That's the truth they don't sell because there's no money in it. But it's the only thing that's real. And you're smart enough to see it now. So, what lie are you ready to let go of first? Let's get uncomfortably honest for a second. Because we have to. You ever catch yourself scrolling through your phone, checking if they liked your post, waiting for that text back, sneaking a look at who's watching your stories? Yeah, same. Welcome to the trap. It's sneaky, it's addicting, and it's everywhere. External validation. That hit of approval, that little gold star, the pat on the back that says, "You're good, you matter, you're enough." And don't get me wrong, it feels great for about 5 minutes. But then what? It fades fast, and you're right back to chasing the next hit, the next thumbs up, the next compliment, the next milestone that you think will finally fill the hole. And spoiler, it never does. I learned this the hard way. There was a stretch in my life when I was a full on approval junkie. Everything I did, my work, my relationships, hell, even my hobbies, were all shaped by one question: will this impress someone? I was addicted to applause. And when it came, sure, I'd get that high. But deep down, I was hollow as hell. Because here's the brutal truth: when your worth is tied to external approval, you will never feel secure. Ever. Because that stuff is like sand. It shifts constantly. One day, you're the golden child. The next, someone's tearing you down, or worse, ignoring you completely. And every time that happens, your sense of self takes a hit. You feel like you're back to square one. That's the trap. You become a puppet, dancing for likes, compliments, promotions, and gold stars, while your real self gets buried deeper and deeper. And the scariest part? Sometimes you don't even notice it's happening. It becomes normal. But here's the thing: external validation isn't bad in itself. We all want to be seen, appreciated, valued. That's human. The danger is when it becomes your fuel instead of just a nice bonus. Your worth, it has to come from you. Because the second you put it in someone else's hands, you give away all your power. Think about that. Every time you let someone else decide your value, you're saying, "Here, you hold the remote to my self-esteem. You get to turn it up or down." And let me tell you, most people are way too careless to be trusted with that. So here's the hard but freeing truth: the approval you're chasing, it'll never be enough if you don't approve of yourself first. Build your foundation from the inside out. That way, when the applause comes, great. It's a bonus. And when it doesn't, you're still solid. No more puppets, no more performing, just you, real, grounded, and finally free. So, who's holding your remote right now? And are you ready to take it back? All right, let's call it out. Because if you're anything like me, you've mastered the art of distraction. And not the fun kind of distraction like an impromptu dance party or a road trip with friends. I'm talking about the sneaky, soul-sucking kind. The kind that keeps you busy but empty. Let's paint the picture. You've got 17 tabs open on your laptop, Netflix playing in the background, scrolling TikTok on your phone, all while telling yourself you're just decompressing. Yeah, you're not decompressing, you're numbing. We all do it. We keep ourselves drowning in noise, in busy work, in drama, in anything that keeps us from having to sit down, alone, quiet, and actually face what's going on inside. Why? Because silence is terrifying. In the quiet, stuff bubbles up. The insecurities, the doubts, the pain you've shoved in the corner, hoping it would magically disappear. And newsflash, it doesn't. It just sits there, waiting. And the longer you ignore it, the louder it gets. I know this dance all too well. There was a point in my life where I filled every minute of my day: work, social events, constant scrolling, binge watching. I told myself I was just busy. But underneath it, I was hiding. Hiding from grief, from shame, from hard questions I didn't want to answer. But here's the cost, and it's steep. Distraction robs you of clarity. It numbs the pain, sure, but it also numbs everything else: your joy, your creativity, your purpose. You can't selectively numb feelings. When you deaden one, you deaden them all. And the cruel irony, the stuff you're avoiding, it's the key to your growth. The only way out is through. Facing it is the thing that actually sets you free. But as long as you're buried in noise, you stay stuck. Life becomes a loop. Wake up, distract, go to bed, repeat. And you wake up one day and realize you've been drifting. Years go by. Nothing really changes, and you wonder why you still feel empty, no matter how busy you are. So here's my challenge: get quiet. I know it's uncomfortable, I know it's scary, but sit with yourself, without the phone, without the noise. Ask the hard questions. What am I really feeling? What am I really avoiding? And listen, really listen to what comes up. It won't be pretty at first, but on the other side of that discomfort, clarity, peace, freedom, you don't need more distractions, you need more truth. So, what's the noise in your life right now? And what's it keeping you from hearing? All right, deep breath, because this one hits hard. Failure. Even just hearing the word makes your stomach tighten a bit, right? We've been conditioned to fear it like it's some big, dark monster under the bed. Fail a test? Shame. Get dumped? Shame. Lose a job? Major shame. And because of that, we start doing this thing. We shrink. We tiptoe through life, playing it safe, avoiding risks like they're landmines, convincing ourselves that staying small is somehow smarter. But here's the truth bomb. No one told us growing up playing it safe is way more dangerous than failing. I mean it, because when you play it safe, you're not protecting yourself, you're suffocating yourself. You're locking your dreams in a tiny room and pretending they're not there. And what happens? Life shrinks, opportunities missed, growth stalled. That potential you know you have, it starts gathering dust. I've been there. I once had an idea, a big, wild idea that lit me up. But instead of going for it, I talked myself out of it. Too risky, too scary. What if I mess up? What will people think? So I shelved it. Years later, someone else did the exact same thing and crushed it. And let me tell you, that regret, that stings way worse than any failure ever could. Here's the thing about failure. It's not the enemy, it's the teacher. It shows you where you need to grow. It builds grit, perspective, resilience. Every person you admire, every success story you've ever heard, built on failure over and over. You know what separates them from the people still stuck on the sidelines? They went for it. They fell flat, got up, tried again. And you know what? Sometimes the worst case scenario does happen. Sometimes you do fail, but you survive. You learn. You get stronger. Every time you fail, you build this unshakable proof that you can handle hard things. And that, my friend, is where real confidence comes from. Not from perfection, from resilience. So let's flip the script. The real danger isn't in trying and failing. It's in never trying at all. That's the trap that keeps your potential locked away. So my question to you is, what's the thing you've been too scared to chase? And when you picture yourself 10 years from now, what's scarier? Trying and failing, or looking back and wondering what could have been? All right, it's time to talk about one of the sneakiest traps out there: people pleasing. And if you just flinched a little, good. That means we're exactly where we need to be. Because let's be real, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've said yes when you wanted to say no. You've bitten your tongue just to keep the peace. You've twisted yourself into whatever shape you thought people needed: funny, smart, agreeable, laid back, just to stay liked, loved, accepted. And at first, it feels kind of rewarding. You get the nods, the praise, the reassurance that, hey, you're needed. But here's where it turns toxic fast. The more you please, the more invisible you become. You start to lose track of you, your own needs, your own desires, your own identity. It all gets buried under this endless, exhausting performance. I know this too well. I spent years being whoever people wanted me to be: the chameleon, the fixer, the easygoing friend who never rocked the boat. And yeah, I was liked. But deep down, I felt fake. Because no matter how much love and approval came my way, it never landed. It never felt real. Why? Because it wasn't for me. It was for the version of me I had carefully crafted to keep everyone else comfortable. And let me tell you, that kind of loneliness, it's brutal. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone when you're not showing up as yourself. Here's the gut punch truth. You cannot build real connection on a fake foundation. You just can't. And every time you abandon yourself, to keep someone else happy. You chip away at your own sense of worth. It's a slow erosion. One day, you wake up and realize you've been living for everyone but you. And worst of all, no matter how much you bend, there will always be someone who disapproves, who's disappointed, who thinks you're not enough. You cannot win that game. So stop playing it. Here's the radical, terrifying, freeing alternative. Be you. Fully. Loudly. Messily. That means setting boundaries, saying no, letting people be uncomfortable sometimes. And yeah, you'll lose a few people along the way. But the ones who stay, the ones who love the real you, that's where the magic is. That's where you stop performing and start actually living. So ask yourself, where are you still wearing the mask? And more importantly, are you ready to take it off? All right, let's drop the mask completely now. We're going deep, rock bottom. That place where everything feels like it's crumbling, where the job's gone, the relationship's broken, your self-worth is scraping the floor. Maybe you're there right now, or maybe you've been there before. Either way, you know what it feels like. That crushing heaviness, the shame, the voice in your head whispering, this is it. This is who you are now. Failure, loser, done. I've been there too. Oh man, have I been there? I remember sitting alone, surrounded by mess, literal mess and emotional wreckage, thinking, I've got nothing left. And the scariest part, I believed it. I believed that was the end of my story. But here's the thing about rock bottom that nobody tells you. It's quiet. All the noise, all the distractions, all the pretending. You can't keep it up down there. It's just you. And that's when something unexpected happens. In that silence, when you're stripped of everything you thought made you worthy, you hear it. That tiny, almost inaudible voice. Not the loud, mean one that tells you you're worthless. The other one. The small, fierce, stubborn voice that says, get up. That's it. No grand speech, no magic solution. Just get up. And let me tell you, that voice, that's you. The real you. The part of you that can't be broken, no matter how hard life tries. The part that's still fighting for you, even when you've stopped fighting for yourself. That moment, when you listen to that voice and take even the tiniest step forward, that's when everything starts to shift. Not all at once. Not in some movie montage way, but step by messy, painful step. Rock bottom isn't the end, it's the foundation. It's where you stop building a life based on what other people think and start building one that's real, one that's yours. And here's the wildest part. When you look back, those lowest moments, they become the turning points, the places where your true strength was born. So if you're in that pit right now, if everything feels broken, listen closely. That voice, it's still there, still waiting, still whispering, get up. And you can, you will, because you are so much stronger than you know. All right, let's talk about something nobody gives enough credit to. Showing up. Sounds simple, right? But let me tell you, it's everything. When you're rebuilding, when you've hit the wall, when your confidence feels like it's at absolute zero, the idea of believing in yourself feels impossible. You can't think your way into confidence. You can't just chant affirmations and magically feel bulletproof. You build it brick by brick. And the first brick? Showing up. Even when you're scared. Even when you're shaky. Even when your inner critic is screaming that you're not ready, not worthy, not good enough. You show up anyway. And that's where the magic starts. I've been there. Those moments when I felt like the least qualified person in the room, when my knees were practically knocking together, when every instinct said, run, hide, bail. But I didn't. I showed up. Imperfect, messy, human. And you know what happened? I survived. I learned. I grew, and little by little, that inner voice, the one that says, hey, maybe you can handle this, got louder. Confidence isn't about never feeling fear. It's about proving to yourself over and over that you can feel fear. and do it anyway. Every time you do that, you're stacking evidence. Proof that you're stronger than you thought, braver than you realized. And here's the thing. The more you show up, the easier it gets. Not because the fear disappears, but because you change. You stop waiting to feel ready and start realizing that readiness is a myth. Action breeds confidence, not the other way around. So if you're sitting there waiting for the perfect moment to start, stop. The perfect moment is a fairy tale. Start where you are with what you have. Show up today, even if it's just a tiny, shaky step. That step matters. It counts. Because the power isn't in crushing it every time. It's in the simple, stubborn act of being there. That's how you build real confidence. That's how you change your life. One step, one decision, one brave showing up at a time. So, where do you need to show up next? Okay, let's drop the biggest truth bomb of all right now. You are enough, period, full stop. No asterisks, no footnotes, no, but only if you do X, Y, and Z. Just enough. And if you're like most of us, that probably feels really hard to believe. Because from the moment we started absorbing the world around us, we were hit with a relentless message. Worth is something you earn. Get the grades, get the looks, get the job, get the approval, and then you're worthy. Then you matter. And it's no surprise that so many of us are running around exhausted, chasing something that always seems just out of reach. I know that treadmill. I ran on it for years, always hustling for the next win, the next pat on the back, thinking this time it'll fill the void. But here's what I learned the hard way. External achievements are just glitter. They look nice, they shine for a minute, but they don't stick. They don't anchor you. Real self-worth, it's not built on what you do. It's built on who you are. And who you are, at your core, is already enough. Even on your worst day. Even when you mess up. Even when you're flat on your face, convinced you've blown it all. You're still worthy of love, respect, and belonging. Why? Because worth isn't a prize. It's a birthright. Think about that. Babies don't do anything useful. They cry, they sleep, they make a mess, and we love them unconditionally. But somewhere along the way, we unlearn that. We start thinking we have to earn our place in the world. We have to prove ourselves over and over. And let me tell you, that's a losing game. Because no matter how much you achieve, if you don't believe you're worthy as you are, it will never feel like enough. So here's the truth. I wish someone had drilled into me years ago. Your worth is not up for debate. It's not something other people get to measure or decide. And it sure as hell isn't tied to your productivity, your relationship status, your bank account, or your follower count. You are worthy because you exist. That's it. The work, the real work, is learning to believe that, to sit with that, to let it sink in, even when everything around you is shouting the opposite. And yeah, it takes time. It's a daily practice. But the freedom it brings, life-changing. So I want you to ask yourself this, right now. What would you stop chasing if you truly believed you were enough? And who might you become if you finally gave yourself permission to just be? All right, we've talked, we've peeled back the layers, we've stared down the hard truths, and now it's time. Time to stop thinking about change and start moving. Because here's the deal. No matter how many words we've said, no matter how fired up you feel right now, none of it matters if you don't take that next brave step. And I know what you're thinking, but what if I mess up? What if it's the wrong move? Listen to me. There is no perfect step. There's only forward. You don't need to have the full map. You don't need to see 10 miles down the road. You just need to take one small, imperfect, courageous action. Today, not tomorrow, not when things calm down, not once I feel ready. Today. Because action is where clarity comes from. Action is where growth happens. Sitting still, overthinking, waiting for the stars to align, that's where dreams go to die. Harsh but true. Look, this is your life, your story, and no one, no boss, no partner, no friend, no guru is coming to save you. That's your job. And the best part? You are fully capable of it. Even if you're scared, even if you feel small, even if you don't believe in yourself yet, just move. Apply for that job. Have the hard conversation. Start the project. Set the boundary. Sign up for the class. Whatever your gut's been nudging you toward, honor it. And yeah, it's going to feel awkward and messy and uncomfortable. Good. That means you're alive. That means you're growing. The bravest people you know, they didn't get there by waiting for permission. They jumped before they felt ready. They built their wings on the way down, and so can you. So here's my challenge to you right now. Decide one small step, one brave action, and take it within the next 24 hours, not next week, not when you have time. Now, because the future you want, the person you're becoming, they're waiting for you to show up. No more hiding, no more waiting. This is your moment. Take it.